All right, we're back with another tier list video. This time going to be ranking 40 to 50 of the most popular protagonists. And this is a contrast to my antagonist video from last week. If you haven't watched that yet, please go check it out. I'm not going to be ranking them based on how amazing they are as a main character. This is more about their aura, which is a factor of things, how effective they are, their charisma, some of their personality traits, and just my overall personal liking towards them. So without further ado, let's get into this. I have a very fun first character here. We are going with Bear from Obsession.
I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
He is going in the F tier. Now, I don't want to say any spoilers. I think he's an incel. I think that he does some things throughout the film that are unbelievably questionable to his character. I think there may be an argument for D just because he is mildly charming and at times seems like he is a quote unquote nice guy. But overall, I'm putting him in the F tier. Again, don't want to say too many spoilers, so we're just going to move on. Let's take Andy from The Devil Wears Prada. Now, I'm going to put Andy in the B tier. I think Andy has some very redeeming qualities. She is a very hard worker. She gets the hang of things pretty quickly. Andy has to work for Miranda Priestley, who is just notoriously difficult to be cohesive with. Yet Andy finds a way to be pretty authentic to herself while also meeting the needs of this very demanding CEO or head of a company. So for that reason, Andy is going in the B tier. All right, let's move on. We're going to go with Harry Potter from the Harry Potter series.
Shut up, Malfoy.
Harry is going to go, this is just another tough one. Harry is going to go in the C tier for me. We think about the boy who lived, right? That is his reputation that precedes him. And some could argue that that is an enormous amount of aura, that you have this reputation of the boy who lived. However, Harry had nothing to do with surviving Voldemort's killing curse when he was a newborn child. In fact, it was all his mother, Lily Potter, that used her love to protect Harry from getting destroyed by the killing curse. This reputation towards his name, it has nothing to do with him. I think that's just something really important to point out. Also, he's always complaining, he's always whining. Now, what does set Harry aside from almost everybody else in this tier list is just the trials and tribulations he has to go through to be this great wizard. He burns off a dude's face at 11 years old. He destroys a basilisk, a giant snake, at 12 years old. He's the youngest wizard ever in the Triwizard Tournament, not to mention winning. And now, when I think about it, he actually lets Cedric win with him. Now, that ultimately gets Cedric killed, but the intention was good. So, for those reasons, and thinking of how, from a moral standpoint, he is pretty sound, pretty solid, I'm going to actually bump Harry up to the B tier. All right, we are going to take Cooper from Interstellar. Cooper is going to go in the... It's between B and A. I'm going to put Cooper in the A tier. Let's start with the things that are great about him. He goes out to save the world, has to leave his children behind, makes just these incredible sacrifices and bold decisions to keep humanity alive. So it actually is a very strong argument for S tier, but strictly based on aura, I just feel there's something missing from his personality that prevents him from going into the S tier. He's got a little bit of this persona to him that may be a little bit cocky and not in the most attractive way. Now, his confidence is very high, so I'm not getting the two mixed up, but he's a great character. I just don't think he's an iconic level S tier. So he is going in the A tier. I'm very comfortable putting him there. Now, our very first S tier aura character, Katniss Everdeen from District 12.
Thank you for your consideration.
With a strong female lead character protagonist, feels very fearless, very bold, very confident in her own way. And I love how her personality, it's very unique. It's just not just this very generic lead female role. She won the Hunger Games back to back. I mean, are you kidding me? it's remarkable to just win one. I believe there's 2 from each district. It's somewhere between 25 and 30. Just the odds to win back to back is remarkable. And to do it with such level of modesty and the skill with the bow and arrow, it's remarkable. Luke Skywalker from the Star Wars original series.
I'll never turn to the dark side.
Now, as the series progresses to the new ones in the 2000s, once Disney ruins it, is definitely somewhere between D and F. But we're talking about the original Star Wars. I'm going to put him in the C tier. Luke is constantly whining. He is a pretty decent Jedi, does help bring balance to the Force. But from an aura standpoint, there's just not a lot of aura. I mean, almost hooks up with his sister, just always complaining. And so for that reason, despite being the iconic Luke Skywalker, he is fading a good aura rating. All right, we have Mia from La La Land.
Because maybe I'm not good enough.
Yes, you are.
No, maybe I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Maybe I'm not.
You are.
Maybe I'm not.
You are.
Mia is going in the A tier. She is tremendously ambitious, wants to be a meaningful actress, and has this nostalgic belief in the classic Hollywood. And despite so much rejection, Mia still has the consistency to push on for her dream. Very inspiring, and there's really not a lot of faults in her from what I remember. I have not seen the movie in a couple of years, but Mia is definitely in the A tier. All right, we're gonna take Agent K from Blade Runner 2049.
You look lonely. I can fix that.
I'm gonna put Agent K in the B tier. He's borderline A, despite not having a ton of personality. And this is because he might be the only non-sentient entity on this list. Let's see. Yeah, looks like it. So just the fact that he's able to achieve getting on this list and not being sentient is a pretty remarkable accomplishment in itself. Agent K, despite being a replicant and living such a lonely life, still finds a way to explore what it means to be human, to do the right thing. Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars Revenge of the Sith.
You're so beautiful.
Anakin is gonna go into it's between S and A. It's hard because he really switches up on us. If we're strictly speaking light side Anakin, he's going in S. If we're speaking Anakin Skywalker as a whole in Revenge of the Sith, I'm putting him in the A tier. Eventually, he just falls to the dark side, and it's really sad to see how he is manipulated into believing he can save his wife. Love will do that to you, and I do respect the intention. Nevertheless, was manipulated and seduced by the dark side of the Force. Now, the things that are incredible about Anakin is he is an amazing Jedi, consistently breaks the rules to follow his heart instead of following his head. Now, that doesn't always get the best result. However, the Force is so strong with him, he has to leave his mother at a young age, and I'm sure his development was very difficult without the support of the person he loved most. Let's move on now to Clark from Me Before You.
You know what I see when I look at you?
Don't say potential.
Potential.
She is going in the S tier. Very easy decision here. Oozing with aura, especially when she comes out in that red dress. Clark is so fun. She has this very cute and whimsical personality, but not too whimsical where it's like this person is a moron. And so I really like that she's found a great balance to be authentic to herself while being very silly. I think we all love a fun, silly person. If you have not seen Me Before You, this is the greatest film my girlfriend has showed me. And for someone that is a hater of rom-coms, I'm very grateful to say I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. Robert J. Oppenheimer is going to go, I'm going to put him in the A tier.
What do you know about quantum mechanics?
I have a grasp on the basics.
Then you're doing it wrong.
His aura is extremely high. He may be a top 3 most important person of the last 100 years and ultimately led us into our victory in World War II. Now, he is very cocky. He is kind of an asshole. He does cheat on his wife. Does he? I think so. Yeah, don't quote me on that. He's a womanizer. I'll just say that, which nothing wrong with that if you're single and if you're doing it in a respectful way. But I think he's going to fade the S tier because of those negative qualities I just listed off. Now, his intelligence and reputation precedes him. He is, I guess, in some ways notorious because General Groves does not necessarily want to pick him for the Manhattan Project because of who he is as a person. It's just that he believes he's the only scientist that can pull it off. So it didn't really have anything to do with his character. In fact, Groves was giving him a hard time about his character when they first met. But the intelligence, saving of the world, and aura in the sense of confidence in what he's able to accomplish. He knew he was the only person that could pull that off. He spoke an entirely different language after learning it in 4 weeks. I think it was in Dutch. He gave a lecture on quantum physics and had to learn this language in 4 weeks to do his lecture. So for all those reasons, you can argue S. However, asshole, womanizer, sometimes not in a good way, that's going in the A tier. All right, we have Chris from Get Out.
And you are?
Chris, Rose's boyfriend.
This is one of my favorite horror movies. Chris has some incredible charisma in the sense of the way he carries himself. He's able to catch on to things that are slights, yet he doesn't overreact or make the person who is slighting him uncomfortable. And I think that takes a lot of patience and confidence to be constantly getting slighted and not really lash out. So I really like Chris's character. I have not seen the movie in quite some time. I'm going to put Chris in the A tier. If there's something I'm missing here, point it out in the comments. All right, Paul Atreides from Dune.
We await your orders. Is Al Gaib?
Lead them to paradise.
Paul is going into the S tier. I think this is a given. Dune is one of my favorite 3 movies ever. Maybe when Dune 3 comes out, this will change. But as of this moment, Paul Atreides is the Duke of Arrakis. He is the Muad'Dib. He is the Hizatz Katarak. I'm probably saying that wrong. And he is the leader from the outer world. He does a lot of things very modestly in the first movie. The way he kills Jamis is with such honor. I think in Dune 2, yes, you may be able to argue a lower aura, maybe an A, because the sort of manipulation starts to begin. But I think he's an incredible leader, and I'm really rooting for him in the final series of Dune. And just from a personal standpoint, I just believe Paul has incredible aura. All right, Agent Harker from Longlegs.
But your work's over. It's done. And you're gonna be in here for the rest of your life.
Harker is going to go, it's between B and C. I'm going to put her in the B tier because she's very dedicated to her work. She's very obsessed with the case of, she's trying to solve it. She's fighting for justice. And there's something that is very admirable about that. Harker definitely experiences some levels of neuroticism, and I think is pretty disconnected from true reality. Her social abilities definitely tend to lack. The charisma is not necessarily there. However, it's other qualities of her drive and passion that put her in the B tier. And I think if we're just strictly speaking based on aura, for an FBI agent, I'm very happy putting Harker in the B tier. Donnie Darko. I'm going to put Donnie in the S tier. I think he is the definition of walking to the beat of your own drum. Donnie is a weirdo, and he just embodies it. He is not trying to be anybody else. He does not give an F. And I love that about Donnie, that we truly see pure authenticism with his character. I know the movie's been out for 20 plus years. I'm just not trying to fully spoil anything if you have not seen anything, but the sacrifice that he has to make at the end of the movie it's legendary, and it's the definition of loving somebody. So Donnie is going in the S tier, and he definitely knows how to throw a great party. All right, Bruce Wayne from The Dark Knight, 2008.
The famous Bruce Wayne. Rachel's told me everything about you.
I certainly hope not. So let's put a couple tables together.
I'm not sure that they'll let us.
Oh, they should. I own the place.
Bruce is going into the S tier. Bruce is a fighter for justice. Despite being the Batman, which is already just fucking amazing, he is very skilled in combat. He is very modest in the sense that you don't really ever see him want to take credit for anything. You see him roll up to a party that he threw an hour or two late, pulling up in a helicopter with two Russian women by his side, maybe more than that. The scene where Harvey and Rachel are speaking in his restaurant, he pulls up. He says, "Let's put these tables together." Harvey says, "I don't think they can do that." And Bruce says, "I own the place." Bruce leaks with aura. It's just a remarkable hero, and I think the best in any superhero series ever. All right, Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
Jordan is going to go into the... It's between B and A. I'm going to put Jordan in the A tier. Now, he does a lot of things that I am not a fan of, whether it's all the drugs that he does. He is just the most extreme version of a womanizer. I think he's definitely a cheater from what I remember, so there's nothing sexy about that. But he does know how to run a very successful firm for a brief time period. And Jordan also knows how to make his M's. So for that reason, he's going in the A tier. All right, Bella from Twilight. Bella is going into... It's between D and F. I think just strictly speaking on aura, Bella's going in F. This girl has no aura whatsoever, at least from the first movie. She's quite insufferable as a protagonist. Maybe not as bad as a couple of others that we have on this list. Certainly not as insufferable as Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't have her on this list because she would be below F tier. But Bella is just not making the cut, does not know how to act in social situations, just really doesn't have any super redeeming qualities about her that are worth noting where it feels like she's leaking aura. Okay, now we're going to take Marty from Marty Supreme.
Manager? Manager. Come on, Murray.
He is somewhere between D and F as well. I'm going to put Marty in the D tier. Now, the reason he doesn't get F is because the ambition and the willingness to do whatever it takes to be a winner, to get what he wants, to achieve his dreams, that is so wonderful. But it comes at the cost of being just such a jerk to everybody, always looking to use someone as a stepping stone. And the things that he says to Odessa Zion's character 2/3 of the way through the movie, it's just some of the most disgusting dialogue I've ever heard and just really had my jaw dropped. Marty's going in the D. I almost gave a full-on spoiler. I'm not going to spoil the ending. The only redeeming quality about him is that he is very ambitious. All right, we have Marcus Aurelius from Gladiator. We have Maximus from Gladiator. In the initial video, I say Marcus Aurelius. I'm just thinking about the scene where he's asking, "Are you not entertained?" and just how iconic it is, how he goes through the trials and tribulations in the arena. Just an amazing warrior, somehow finds a way to just hold this incredible resilience despite all of the tragedies that have happened to him. Indiana Jones from Indiana Jones. Indy is going, it's between S and A. I'm going to put Indy in the S tier. I think just from a charismatic standpoint, I mean, girls swimming at the mouth for him, just as a professor, what a guy. Well, it would be incredible to attend those lectures. The sense for adventure is there. The cockiness that I'm going to overlook here because I just love it on him. It really suits his character. It doesn't feel forced. It just feels authentic. And he has everything to back it up. What a guy. I would love to get a beer with that dude. All right, we have, I don't even remember her name, Sydney Sweeney from The Housemaid, F tier. Garbage movie, garbage protagonist. I mean, most of Sydney Sweeney's characters, maybe I'm just a hater, but she just genuinely pisses me off. So she's going in the F tier. No more time talking about it. Jason Bourne from The Bourne Identity.
Bourne?
Get some rest, Pam. You look tired.
Bourne is going to go into A tier. He fades the S just because his character is just a little too stoic for me from like the personality sense. Like I don't think he would be a fun guy to be around. I think he has incredible qualities outside of his combat, but anticipation, his knowledge, his intelligence, ability to survive, being a great partner in the sense of protecting and loving his wife. Jason Bourne, easy A tier. Truman is going into the B tier.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
I love Truman's character. He is so bubbly. I know I said this for Clark, but whimsical, sort of in a good way. He's a little dim-witted, but I think we can all understand the circumstances he grew up in, where maybe not being the most intelligent guy, but certainly having a charm to him. You really root for him, and I'm really happy with the decision he makes at the end of the movie. His will to get through that ocean despite being afraid, it's remarkable, and I think we can all learn something from Truman. All right, I'm going to take Barbie now. She is going in the C tier. This might come as a surprise to some people, but let's start with the good things. She's very curious, very open to new experiences, which I admire very thoroughly. It's very attractive. Shout out to Margaret Robbie, though. And I think what bothers me about Barbie is I was anticipating she would have a lot more aura. Just a very agreeable character, and there's nothing good about that trait. Seeming to be a pick-me girl, like a yes, we can do whatever. There's a lack of assertiveness there, and she's not confident in the way that I would like her to be. But nevertheless, she's certainly not D and F level. I just think her aura is very average, and I would have loved to have seen her character display a lot more. Neo from The Matrix. Neo is between S and A. I'm going to put him in the A category. Now, I've only seen the first Matrix, so maybe as time goes on, he develops more. I still think he has incredible aura. Do I think he has as much aura as someone like Indy or Bruce Wayne or Katniss Everdeen? Absolutely not. But Neo, memory may be a little foggy because I haven't seen the films in a decade. I wanted to include him, though, for being a top protagonist, and I'm not trying to disrespect him. It's just, I don't think he has that iconic S level of aura. Captain Jack Sparrow. He is between B and A for me. I'm going to put Jack in the B tier. I think he does have a lot of aura, but there's just some qualities about him that bother me. Let's just start with, we would have loved if the dude, personal hygiene, like let's step it up there. There's nothing great about reeking. In fact, that is just the pure opposite of aura. You are oozing with BO. You are not oozing with aura. Jack is a fun character in the sense that he's able to make light of a lot of things. He can be in a very tough predicament and finds a way to stick it out. So I really admire that quality about him. Now, full disclaimer, I haven't seen these movies in a very long time either. So if you were to argue Jack should be in the A or S tier, I would love to hear that argument. Zendaya now, I'm forgetting her name, from Challengers. She is going to go into, it's between D and C. I think I'm going to put her in the D tier. I might just be hating a little because I thought the movie was just absolute garbage. Just for a blockbuster, I felt like I was watching a sophisticated reality TV show. Like, that's what it felt like. She's just kind of an asshole, and she is a cheater. I don't know, just the way she manipulates these men. It's very strange. I personally just don't like her as a character, but if someone were to argue for B or C, I could maybe see that. I know she's a great tennis player as well, but I'm just not comfortable putting her in anything above D. Frodo from Lord of the Rings. Frodo is going to go into the C tier. He just kind of reminds me of Luke in a way. I feel like as a character, there's not really a lot of qualities where I'd really want to be around Frodo. Now, I may be just misremembering since Lord of the Rings is a very dark series. Maybe he is just scared a lot of the time. I know there are times where he's having a drink and dancing. That's great and all, but I just don't think he's got a lot of aura. All right, Tom Cruise from Top Gun Maverick. Forgetting his name as well. He is going to go somewhere between S and A. I think I'm going to put him in the A tier. Comes out of retirement to just absolutely turn up on a suicide mission. I really like the way that he just seems like a fantastic guy to be at a party with. I'm sure he's got a lot of fun stories. From what I remember, I just don't think there's a lot of bad qualities about him. And he's just very good at what he does. So Tom is going in the A tier. All right, Margaret from The Menu.
You know what I'd really like?
Tell me.
A cheeseburger.
Margaret is gonna go in the A tier. Survival skills, top tier. Manipulation and with a good connotation, top tier. I wish we got to see. I don't know. I feel like in that movie, the menu, it's very concentrated scenario, so we don't really get to see her shine as much. But just based off what I was able to take from her character, I love the confidence. I love the ability to survive. Anya Taylor-Joy, just what an incredible actress. I know we're just talking about the protagonist here, but that gives it like an extra tick for me. So maybe I'm being a little biased. She's going in the A tier. All right, Lieutenant Aldo from Inglourious Bastards.
Corlomi? Lo pronuncio correctamente?
Si, correcto.
Aldo is going to go into the A tier for me. I think his character is extremely funny, very bold, seems to be at his demise a couple of times, and again, just able to make light of that, similar to Captain Jack Sparrow. And I just love that. It's great when people can find a way to be optimistic in the most improbable circumstances. Now, we actually don't see a ton of him in Inglourious Bastards. For being a protagonist, I feel like he has pretty limited screen time. But from what I saw, easily an A tier character. All right, John Wick from John Wick. John's going to go in the B tier. The reason he's not going higher is because we don't really get to see a ton of his personality. We know he has an elite skill set. We know he has a very stoic focus about him. There are things that reek aura from all of those things. However, from a charismatic standpoint, we just don't see enough where I'm comfortable putting John higher. Also, I mean, there is no John Wick without Neo. Let's get that straight real quick. Kate Macer from Sicario. Kate is going to go into the C tier. I love that Kate has a lot of moral integrity. She wants justice to be done. There is a realistic vulnerability about her. She is an FBI agent, and some of the downsides to Kate is that she's not super great under pressure. I know she was kind of dragged into a world where she is just completely unfamiliar with it. But for an FBI agent, and it's funny that we see Harker here, he's also an FBI agent right above her as well. I would have just liked to see a little more composure and not get so overwhelmed in situations. Now, if she was just a normal human, that would be completely fine. But she's in the FBI. We got to step it up a notch. Ashitaka from Princess Mononoke. Ashitaka is an easy S. This is one of the most easy choices I could make here. I love that this movie, if you have not seen this movie, it's incredible. The allegories are so amazing where he's trying to be a mediator between humans and gods and the environment, essentially. He takes a lot of heat because both sides are like, yo, dude, which side are you on? He's like, I'm on the side of doing the right thing. I love this character. I feel that in a lot of ways, I actually relate to him. Sometimes you could want to do the right thing. You could want to be objectively fair, where you're not necessarily siding with people, and maybe they take it the wrong way, or you're not picking a side, and people want you to be on a side. I think we need to all try to remain to be objective and do what's best for humanity, for gods, for the environment. It's like we're all in this together. So I love Ashitaka. I love his character and everything he stands for. Elvis from the Elvis movie.
You may have a green Cadillac, but don't you make nobody's room now, baby. Come back, baby, come back, baby.
He's going to go in S tier as well. Austin Butler does a great job of portraying Elvis Presley here. It's sort of like real life. He's not really playing this fictional character. This is based off Elvis in real life. I would be doing a great disservice to put Elvis Presley in anything less than S tier, considering how much aura this dude had, how great of a performer he was, how girls flocked and foamed at the mouth for him. Just his charisma overall was incredible. He shaped music in so many ways. Now, I'm sure there are some arguments for maybe his personal life, some things that were questionable. I don't have the time to go through and look at those things in this very moment. So I'm just strictly speaking on aura, Elvis Presley going in the S tier. All right, we have Neil from Dead Poet Society. Neil's going in the S tier.
Open tryouts.
So I'm gonna act.
Shout out to my mom and my boy Logan for putting me on to Dead Poet Society. That movie so many amazing messages in that movie. Neil is one of the few characters, I would say, Donnie Darko and Ashitaka level, where he is just truly genuine to who he is. I guess so. With his father, he's not because he's afraid of his father. But with everybody else, he is just fine being this sort of androgynous personality where he's very good at his masculine qualities, he's very good with his feminine qualities. And to see a man, a young man, around a bunch of other boys just fully adopt his genuine self, wanting to be an actor, being comfortable with poetry and speaking it. I just love that about his character, and I love everything that he embodies and stands for. All right, we have Nora from Past Lives, and I just saw this movie a couple weeks ago. Nora, she's pretty oozy with her aura. I'm gonna put her in the B tier. She has this ambitious resilience where she's always wanting to achieve something, whether it's the Nobel Peace Prize, the Pulitzer. I know she's just so ambitious. Gotta love that in her character. Very emotionally intelligent, willing to explore her past. She's very honest with her partner, and whether it's very difficult to do that or not, that does not matter to her. She's all about being honest. Now, the problem with her is that she is emotionally suppressive, sort of struggles between her identities of her Korean self, her American self, kind of losing track of what outcome that she would like with her romantic life. So there's just this aspect of her that's a little fickle when it's coming to things that are very important that you would like to see a little more certainty on. And personally, I just have a big problem with people that have a lot of difficulty expressing vulnerability. And there's like a lack of, from what we see on the screen, there is a lack of warmth that we see with her and her partner. Not as much love as you would like to see in a relationship that was a decade long or something like that. That's why she's fading the S and A tier. All right, we were taking Gustav H. from Grand Budapest Hotel.
Preys on mentally feeble, sick old ladies. And he probably fucks them too.
I go to bed with all my friends.
I'm putting Gustav in the B tier because there are some flaws that I can't overlook. But let's just start with his exceptional professionalism. This dude is a true concierge. I mean, it is max level professionalism that you would love to see at any fancy hotel or fancy restaurant that you would go to. Exceptional customer service. He's very eloquent and poetic, just very cultured, very charming, knows how to say the right things. He has this way about him that's very warm. Despite some trials and tribulations. Now, some of his flaws preventing him from being in the S and A tier. He's very obsessed with his self-image. I don't think I would call it narcissism, but it's on the border of that. We see him with the inheritance, sometimes acting out of self-serving, like wants the personal gain. And he's just also very stubborn when it comes to perfectionism. And I know there's that quote, like, perfect is the opposite of good or something like that. I think that can be fully applied to his character. Speaking of a perfectionist, let's get Natalie Portman from The Black Swan. I'm going to put her in the D tier. She has this obsessive perfectionism. Has its pros and cons, right? Like, it's always nice to see someone strive for the best and want to be quote unquote perfect. But that can be some of her flaws, and also just experiences such a high level of neuroticism where is not really capable of maintaining any confidence, experiencing a very high level of anxiousness, paranoia. Some of these qualities are very human, right? But when it's to a level of being just your whole identity, there's not a lot of aura in that. Now, there's also just a high level of fragility with her character. Feels like she could just break at any time. For an aura tier list, those qualities you just can't overlook. Gotta put her in the D tier. Batman from 2022. Robert Pattinson's Batman is gonna go into it's between B and C. I'm gonna put him in the B tier. I'm gonna keep him in C. Now, he's got peak detective skills. He has an intimidating presence. I think, what does he say? I am vengeance or something like that. So dude is out there just winging, saving a city. He is different than Christian Bale's Batman in many ways. I do appreciate that he is a more I think realistic Batman in the sense of the human element. He makes more mistakes, but there is a very low amount of social intelligence here. He's very disconnected from what's going on in the city. He is just not super emotionally intelligent and is just a very withdrawn personality, not really able to form good social connection. All right, lastly, we are going to take Andy from Shawshank Redemption. Andy is going to go into the C tier. Andy is very resourceful. I appreciate that quality about him. He has some inner peace that really makes him the symbol of hope. You know, being able to spend decades just creating this tunnel, it requires a lot of patience and composure. I am a big hater of the Shawshank Redemption as a movie. I think it is the most overrated movie I have ever seen. So that may play a small role in this. But if we look at some of the cons of his character, they are real. He is a pretty passive character, comes across as snobbish at times, and is just a very emotionally distant character. So for those reasons, I don't think there's enough aura there. I think his best quality is being resourceful. So there you have it, folks. My tier list of popular protagonists. If I'm missing some people, if you disagree with some of these choices, I would love to hear it in the comments below. And if you enjoy this sort of content, please subscribe. I'm going to be making many tier lists based off a lot of different things, but they will be mostly revolving around movies. Maybe it's score, maybe it's cinematography, maybe different characteristics of a protagonist or antagonist or even side character. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.